Hello dear hiking and backpacking friends, good to see your smiling faces in front of the screen again. My name is Hendrik and this is my video about the Sierra Designs High Route 1 tent that Andrew Skurka helped develop. This is a really versatile tarp and tent combination, and it gets pitched with your trekking poles. While I have used the High Route 1 outside for quite a bit, this is not a review video. I simply am going to show you how the tent is pitched, its pros and cons and features, and then I let you make a judgment if this tent is something for you. In that sense, let's pitch it. As always in these videos, let's start with a look at what comes with the tent. Again, we have this very nice stuff sack which opens really easily from the top and you don't need to squeeze anything in. I really like these new stuff sacks for tents. Over here we have the fly, over here we have the pegs, and here is the inner tent. The Sierra Designs High Route 1 gets pitched separately. So first you pitch the outer and then you clip in the inner. However, on beautiful summer nights where you don't expect any rain, you also can just pitch the inner. That's something I'm not going to show in this video, but just be aware that that is also possible. Well, as I said, we need trekking poles to pitch the High Route 1. I'm using my Ruta Locura Yana poles. These are a tad over 100 gram per pole and they're hands down my favorite trekking poles. For starters, let's put the inner to the side, take the pegs and the fly sheet, and then with the fly sheet packed out, we take our trekking poles and enter them to the inside of the tent. The grips of the trekking poles go to the top of the tent, while the little tip goes into a grommet at the bottom. What is your favorite feature of the Highroad 1 from Sierra Designs? Tell me in the comments underneath and leave a thumbs up, because it really makes a difference. Thank you. And right away you probably see that this is an offset design, so the poles are not on the same height in the tent. In use I have found this a quite nice arrangement, but it is something to keep in mind when you're pitching this tent, that they are not on the same height, so it's very important to look for a very even spot. On the inside, where you're putting the trekking poles, on the top and the bottom there are Velcro straps with which you can attach the trekking pole to the tent. In use I haven't found that much of a useful feature, but it's there if you want to do it. What I liked quite a lot are the buckles, which keep the doors closed, and in this way you, for example, could ventilate the tent like this. Before I stake out the final two guy lines and pull all the other guy lines tighter, I am going to insert the inner tent. The inner tent gets connected to the outside via buckles at the top and D-rings in the corners. It's a really cool arrangement and it works very nicely, but you need to stretch in to the corners and clip them in. Let me show you. Alright, here we have the inner that we fold out, and over here you see the hooks which are connected to the D-rings in the corners. And this is the first thing you should do before you clip in the buckles at the top. Now that all four corners are connected to the fly, we clip in these buckles to the top of the tent. And with that, the inner and outer are pitched and you're ready to move in. Now is also the right moment to check the corner guy lines, make sure they are at the right angle and that they are tight. The Highroad has on both sides these little protected airflow windows with a mesh inside so that the bugs don't come. You can pitch it really low to the ground, as you can see over here. And what's also really nice is that with the two-way zippers you can open the door like this, so you have it closed at the bottom, but you can have it open a little bit like this to increase the airflow and minimize the condensation in your tent. If you are expecting a very nice night without any rain, then you might want to just take the door and pitch it open and create a more living space. That way you also can increase the airflow in the tent. Well, it's time to take a look inside. inner tent of the Highroad 1 is really spacious for one person and your gear. There's a lot of space. What I really like also is that there's this little lamp over there where you can put your headlamp in, and then it diffuses the light very nicely, which is cool if you want to take photos of your tent at night or if you want to read inside of your tent. It's also very comfortable to sit like this in the tent. Over here there's a lot of space around the tent. You actually can tighten and loosen the inner as much as you want, which makes the living space of the inner tent very flexible. Of course, no inner tent comes without mesh inside pockets, and the Highroad 1 from Sierra Designs is no different. You have a mesh pocket on each side of the inner. As you probably have realized by now, the Highroad 1 has 2 doors and 2 vestibules. Right now I have my backpack on the other side, and I could just start cook over here and make myself a cup of coffee. That makes the Highroad 1 very flexible, and it's a really nice feature that I have enjoyed a lot. Of course, it does add a little bit of weight to have like 2 doors, because it's like more zippers, and zippers are heavy. But I really enjoy this feature and I wouldn't want to miss it. As you can see, there is a lot of space in the inner, even with the bilberries pushing up the bottom of the tent. I really have enjoyed sleeping in this tent because there's a lot of space, and there's also a really good sitting height for a small guy like me. Well, this is everything I have to tell you about the Sierra Designs Highroad 1. This is a really flexible one-person shelter with 2 vestibules and 2 doors and a really nice and spacious mesh inner. It's great for backpacking if you're hiking with trekking poles, because you can multi-use the trekking poles to pitch your tent. In that sense, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave me a thumbs up and maybe subscribe. And as always, life is better outside. Go and enjoy the autumn. Bye!